Welcome, friends, to a tradition unlike any other. And no, I'm not talking about a Jimmy D poem. It's Masters Week. On the eve, we're bringing you episode 152 of Broad Street Hustle. I'm your host tonight, Tommy Nanny. Let's send a warm welcome, Augusta style welcome to our co-host Jason Sayeta, whose Masters takes are about as sharp as the cheese on the pimento cheese sandwiches. Jason.
Yeah, I don't remember if I've ever had a winner on our podcast for the Masters. So you might be right.
Well, let's change it this year. Jimmy the Chalk, who probably just got done sweating out the final hole of the par three match where he probably placed a bet.
AI's got a while to go on these scripts.
You
You're
should
not
use
supposed
Grok.
to. You're not supposed to give out the sauce. And Kevin Krieger back from, and this is not ChatGPT, a quick tornado-ridden drunken Nashville trip.
I'll tell you what, didn't
Is
see
that
much in
right?
Nashville, but the hotel looked, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I've got trying to hit
and
every natural disaster out there.
Well, grab your green jackets, pour yourself a sweet tea or something stronger, and let's dive into the drama, the glory, and the beautiful azaleas. Today's show is brought to you by Giovanina's Pizza. You tried the rest, now try the best. Perfect for watching the Masters, arguing PGA versus Live, or after your top pick four putts on a Sunday. Let's kick it off with a little Masters week. Welcome. Hello, boys. Why don't we jump right into it? So, if you listen to some of our Masters pods in the past years, you've probably heard we usually kick it off with some notes around the course, some trends. Jason always will kick it off. Kevin usually has a few good tidbits as well. So I'm gonna start right off and go right to Jason.
Chalky doesn't.
Not when it comes to the course stuff. I mean, once in a while
Yeah, I got it.
he'll throw it in there, but
All right, so Augusta National Week, biggest week of the year for golf. Like we said, Augusta National, it's 7,555 yards, par 72. Probably the widest fairways maybe on tour. Might give you a hint on who I might be betting, but the rough isn't too bad. It's bent grass. There are four par fives. There are holes 2, 8, 13, and 15. And the second hole is the easiest on the course. The 11th hole, the white dogwood, is the hardest hole on the course, and that starts Amen Corner, which is holes 11, 12, and 13. There's 95 golfers entered into the tournament this week. The top 50 will make the cut. The weather doesn't look too bad. It's I think the only day that they say may rain is Friday morning a little bit, but other than that, like no wind, no rain. So
so it was 2 years ago with the crazy rain, and then was last year windy? Wasn't there something last year too?
it's been weather. There's been weather recently. Like
Yeah.
this is the first year that there's no weather, and I think it might trick people into thinking it's going to be easy. I think they might make the pins. I think they made the pins easier because of the weather,
Hmm.
I mean, they
and
had
I
a
think
ton
now
of rain, yeah, Monday, but that course drains so good.
it drains. Yeah, it drains. So I think they're going to make the course a little tougher than people would think. But I don't know if you wanted me to go on and give my trends, or if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, well, we could kick it around to Jimmy the Chalk or Kevin. Do you guys have any tidbits on the course itself? Has there been any changes to like the holes? Any added trees? I know Kevin, you had some for the players.
I
Anything that
mean,
you've read or seen?
Augusta is probably unlike any course. I mean, the amount of changes that they make year after year. I mean, they buy a property. The green jackets are always up to something. But while they didn't make any changes this year, Mother Nature did. Storms in the off season, I know, apparently has opened up the course a ton, which is kind of bringing it back to some of the older renderings. Bobby Jones' design of having it. I mean, really, when he designed it, he said he wanted it to be a bomber's paradise, more of a second shot course. As Jason was saying, if not the, but some of the widest fairways in the course. Or I mean, on tour. Maybe lengthen a few tee boxes, but really, apparently it's going to look a ton more open because I think it was something like 30, 40 trees they had to remove from was it a hurricane or storm. Um, but one cool thing I didn't realize or maybe I did, but they reverse mow the fairways. So while it is a bomber's paradise, it's more key on carry distance because greens are lightning fast, but the
Yeah.
fairways are not. So
Yeah, a lot of pine. Isn't Masters has the pine straws, right? A lot under a lot of the trees, and you'll see a lot of guys hitting out of that this weekend. But I mean, at this point, it feels like that's like not a problem for the professionals. They
no.
seem. I think it was Xander
Bubba
was.
Watson's famous shot in the when he won his second green jacket out of the pine straw,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
15.
Yeah. Anything chalky? Anything to add? Anything you saw that picked up on?
I mean, stuff that I Googled. Yeah, I got a few things here. The
AI,
to go along. Well, this is generative AI. It says we'll see if this is any better than what
I
Tommy
mean,
used.
you didn't go boots on the ground and check out the course before
with the notepad in
Try
hand.
try to but my car needs a couple parts and I waiting for things to settle down a little bit.
Okay.
But so with the trees coming down, as Kevin was talking about, the loss of trees on the behind the 11th and 15th holes has noticeably affected depth perception and aiming lines. So I'll be interested to see if those scores come in any different than before. The trees on the 11th were very popular for aiming on an approach as well. That was lost. And then there's the 10th hole where some trees came down, which now gives the players a difficult but tantalizing shot from the tee box that they normally would not have had before to play. They can see a TV tower in the distance that marks an aiming line that they might go for. And then they rebuilt some of the greens 1, 8, 15, and 16. And those 4 greens play much firmer than the rest of the course because they're new.
Okay, and then Jason, you alluded to the weather and the pins maybe get moved, and you kind of hinted at. Oh, I think it's going to be tougher. Do you mean so? Like, what's the over under on the? Because I know that we
Yeah,
always talk about like shots for the weekend, and it sounds like you would be leaning towards the under. But go ahead.
I would. So they have the winner at 276 and a half is the over under for the winner, which would
Which
equate
is
11 and a half under.
okay.
I might throw a bet on it being in the single digits, because like I said, I think everybody's going to say, oh, there's no weather, and I think they're gonna make the pins tougher to kind of defend against it, that. And I think they could at this course. So I might even bet the no. That's another thing I wanted to throw in. So apparently the yes for hole in one is or the no is plus money for hole in ones. Any
Well,
hole.
I
Yeah,
saw
I
Kepka had
remember
and he's on the par three today on the par three
He hit a
match.
hole in one.
Yeah.
Did
the
he?
part.
I
Yeah.
was,
Well,
I was going to say
that's like
it.
the part.
Yeah, or maybe it was a yes. I think it's yes both ways, but like low for I think it's plus both ways for yes and no, but like it's almost like a toss up. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to see a plus for yes and bet it, and I think the actual value is in no to bet for a hole in one.
Yeah, I mean, yes, people aren't. I mean, more people are going to bet yes than
Yeah,
no.
nobody wants to root against things.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Jason, you want to keep going? You had some
Yeah.
trends for us as well.
So I looked at about 5 or 6 or 7 trends. It looks like here for winners need to be ranked in the top 30 of golf rankings for what is it, OWGR? I think that's the
The
Official
World
World
Golf
Golf Ranking.
Wrestling.
acronym. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Has a top 25 in the Masters. Is younger than 40. Has a start in the Masters. Has a start in a major. I'm sorry. Um, made cut in the prior year Masters. Is not the defending champ, and has a top six finish in the major in the last two seasons. So when I give my win bets out, I think 90% of them will have hit every one of those parameters.
Yeah, two more that if you squint, you can find a trend that will pretty much eliminate every single golfer that's playing this weekend. But no golfer has completed the Grand Slam, the career Grand Slam, by way of the Masters. I
Oh
don't know
wow!
if that I don't know if that would influence any of you
Also,
guys.
only 5 Grand Slam winners all time.
Yeah,
So.
well, and then since 1964, only one previous U.S. Open champion has won the Masters
Oh
in
wow!
Jack. So that would
Interesting.
eliminate a top guy for a lot of people.
Would.
But again, I mean, these are trends that you can find against anybody.
I did forget one other one I had, and this was interesting. And you want to be in the top 10 after round one, because apparently, at least in the last 20 years, and it may go way before that, but definitely for the last 20 years, there's only been two winners that were not in the top 10 after round one, and they're both named Tiger Woods.
How about and you might not have it right off if guy like leaders after round one. How do you know where they
That I don't have. I just had that top 10 stat.
Actually,
got? Yeah.
I do have a couple interesting round one starts, though. It is paramount to get off to a fast start.
Yeah.
I think the average first round position in the or not think, but the average first round position in the last 20 years has been 5.6. So basically, you got to be in the top
Top
5 or
five.
near it
No,
all
it
time.
goes to Jason. Yeah, it goes to Jason Strand.
Yeah, same thing all time after the first round in average starting position is 6.7. So top 7.
So if
And
anybody bets live,
Yeah,
you pretty much look at the top five and maybe throw something on one of those guys. And
yeah,
yeah,
and if honestly, if the top five isn't a Scheffler or a Rory or Deshaun, like you might get value if it's a Seb Strock or
fly, yeah.
somebody that's like outside the
yeah,
box a little bit. So yeah, that's a good point. Anything else, Chalky? Did you use your magic Google box and pull up any trends? As usually this prep work is done prior to the show.
Well, if you're going to win the tournament, you usually got to play pretty well. Got to play under par. I don't think there's any above par winners in Masters history, and it's never. It's not a first time starter at the Masters. So yeah. Other than that, I think we can get right into the picks.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've one interesting anti-trend where
Yeah, go for
putting,
it.
I mean, unlike any course, putting does not really matter. 15 out of the last 17 winners have ranked outside the top 50 in strokes gained putting.
Yeah, I mean, and that definitely goes towards Scotty Scheffler's
Yeah.
success here, right? I mean, he's the guy that's
Yeah.
struggles with putting, and the wide fairways and the ability to bomb the ball plays right into his hands. So,
yeah.
all right, let's get started. Jason's been doing a lot of the talking. Chalky, I'm gonna let you start with for this go around. We're gonna just give our top pick winner. Um, and if you got any reasons why or stats behind it. But yeah, just your number one pick, gun to your head, who you taking, include the odds.
I mean, gun to my head, I'm taking Scotty at 4-1. I don't think that's a good bet in terms of value, but if my life is on the line, I need to pick one person to win. I'm taking Scotty. My top pick in terms of value would be somebody else, but if we're going to come back around, I'll hold off on that.
No, who's your top pick? What are we doing here?
I just gave you my top pick. Gun to my head, Scotty wins, but
So that's your top pick is Scotty
I mean,
Scheffler?
that's why his name's Chalky.
I think he's the most likely winner.
Yeah.
My best bet, or who I bet, is Allberg at 20-1. But
No, so your top okay. So your top pick was Scheffler. All right, Jason, your top pick for the tournament.
Yeah, so I'm going to go against that one trend, Tom. I like the Shambo. And I think, like I said, uh, driving. So basically, I use three parameters: driving, ball striking, course experience, and played well at the course. DeChambeau played well last year. I watched Live last week. His putting looked pretty good. So he was putting well, and you know I think last year he just used a strategy of just bombing it, and
Well,
and
he was he led right after the first round.
I think he did. Yeah, and I think I did hit that bet actually. I think I
Yeah,
had
I
it.
remember. I think we
Um,
gave that out on the pod.
yeah, and I just see him winning. I do. I'm kind of against a lot of the top guys, as you'll see with my other picks.
Yeah,
But
and honestly, if you hear a trend like we said we were going through, and you try to make sense of the reason why. So like, I mean, honestly, what is the reason why a U.S. Open previous U.S. Open winner hasn't won at the Masters? Is there any like is there a reason why? Like you talk about the team that lost the Super Bowl tends to not make the playoffs on a higher percent. Like you could say, well, all right, they played longer this season, the
yeah,
draft. Like there's reasons, but like there is no logical reason of why a U.S. Open it just didn't happen, right?
yeah,
I mean,
It's
am
also
I crazy to say
very
that?
hard to win majors. So
Right, right. And
that
only
could
one
be
guy
a
wins a
reason.
major. Yeah. So to do it in pretty much consecutive years to win a
yeah.
major is
I mean, Bryson, he's
yeah.
playing it as what, a par 67? Isn't he said that famously, a few years
Did he
back?
say that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. He does say some stupid things every once in a while, but I think he says less stupid things now than he used to.
Yeah, his YouTube channel has made him more of like a kind of
Yeah, he's more
loving
likable. He seems
guy.
to be more likable now than he used to
yeah,
be.
he's
It's a
definitely, and
self-estimate.
I assume consciously revamped his public persona.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I think it helped him too. I mean, you go back to that U.S. Open, the fans were on his side, and it
yeah,
Yeah,
lifted
well,
him
I
up.
mean, I said it. I said it when Jason and I recapped the U.S. Open last year. But that, like, he was like Captain America with the crowd that year. And
yeah,
when Tommy's brother and I went to the tournament in Jersey a couple years ago, he just looked at the crowd like with disdain. Like he just is like he was there to play and he didn't want anything to deal. The
yeah,
players will, like, if you say, oh yeah, hey, like even Rahm was number one at the time, like he would wave or just put his hand up. He kept DeChambeau was just like, you're not even there. So it's a complete 180 from what he was a couple years ago.
Yeah, and it helps him. I mean, it definitely helps him. I think, in my
And it's
opinion.
crazy. I mean,
Oh,
going up against Rory, Rory's one of the most popular players on the tour, but they were definitely behind DeChambeau
Yeah.
in that Open.
mhm. Yeah, and Kev, where are you going with your top pick?
It's my top pick. You're going to be disappointed. It's my top pick, but that'll come later. So I'm also going to go
Yeah.
against trend, but I have 19 trends that I've compiled. I'm not going to go through all of them. We've named a couple of them. But as a process of elimination, only 4 players fit 15 of these 19 trends:
Okay.
Xander, Henley, Straka, and Lowry. 2 players fit 16 of the 19, which are Cantlay and Rahm. 2 fit 17 of the 19, Scotty and your boy DeChambeau. And only 1 player fit all 19 trends. I think it's my sentimental pick, historical pick, and it's the going against the Grand Slam pick. But Rory, he's going to be my top pick for this week. I mean,
I
already
knew
won twice this year.
I knew you were pulling the trigger on Roy. I felt it as you were going through it. Um, yeah, all right. So I'm gonna close it out, and I'm going with Morikawa as my top pick. So I think he's plus 1,600. So nothing. Maybe the fourth in odds. So nothing crazy. I mean, it's all the same reasons. Top 10 last 3 years. He was a solo fifth last year's tournament. He, you know, he's had bad final rounds, but he's played very well in the first 3 rounds, and I do think his final rounds this year have improved a little. Um, his stroke gains obviously is big. And he this year the reason why he's playing a little better, his short game, like his around the green has improved, which is super important for the Masters, and I think is one of the reasons why I could give him an edge. His iron play is exceptional. Now his drive, he doesn't bomb it necessarily, but the bigger fairways are going to come into play for him. And he is first this year shots gained T2 green. So I think it's Collins' year. Not a big fan of his, and although I'm talking to
Nothing to. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, just talking to everybody. Every time a name came up, I'd say I don't like him. I don't. I think he's arrogant. So I just don't like professional golfers. So I'm starting to get away from. I'm starting to get away from guys I don't like.
I thought Toasty's your boy, Toasty Mimuli. I mean, you were on the edge of your seat last week.
Yeah, yeah, I know. So I like those type of guys, but those like entitled Stanford, kind of golfers, I'm anti. But this year I am going with Colin Morikawa as my top pick. So I think we covered the first guy, the first in odds, the second in odds, the fourth in odds, and sixth in
Well,
odds.
I think DeChambeau was like 18 or
Six.
20 when I looked earlier today. Like
No, but no in top six, like not the actual odds.
I mean, you pretty much the Masters. It's top 15 players.
Yeah.
This is not a long shot.
Yeah.
Danny Willett, won one.
Yeah. All right, and now I'm gonna go. So before we go into some other picks, I'm actually gonna go through the room with a couple guys that, as we just said, we said we were 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna go through some of the other top guys. John Rahm, and I kind of remember doing this last year because I don't think anybody had Rahm last year. Any particular reason nobody's kind of feeling Rahm, or does somebody have Rahm with like a later on pick?
Yeah, Kevin.
I love Rahm in DFS. I think he's got value there, right? I do a little fantasy on the side, but I don't know. I mean, other than like DeChambeau and Koepka, the live guys, I don't know. I don't really have a beat on them.
Yeah.
Let's
And how about Xander is another one that's like top in odds, and his form.
I just wanted to throw one thing on Rahm is just because of odds, like I wouldn't use Rahm. But if he was 30 to 1, then I would bet Rahm.
Right. Yeah, he's 13 to 1 right now, third pick. So
That's terrible odds. That's just not good odds.
value at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at Xander. He's 18 to 1. He's the 7th pick. I mean, he's not really coming in strong to the tournament, obviously, but he's performed well. He did he I'm trying to think what was the last tournament he competed in. I don't think he played very well, right?
I mean, he was part of the Tiger 2019 Masters when he was in the mix and Koepka and Finau, but
Yeah, I mean,
the thing is, too, he draws the ball, and that this is a fader's course, so
I have the last 3 years top 20 in front of me. So in 22, he did not finish in the top 20. In 23, he finished tied for 10th, and last year he finished 8th.
Yeah.
So he's got good history at the course.
Yeah, but he's only played 3 tournaments this year, 2 or 3.
He has, and I'm not using him.
Yeah.
Just because of that. But then again, I mean, you wouldn't be getting 18 to 1 on him.
Koepka
he's a top 10 play for me, but not a winner.
Was Koepka somebody anybody kind of looked at?
I faded
What are his odds?
Yeah.
He's 30 to 1 right now.
30
He's
to
30.
1.
That's interesting. He might be like after first round.
Yeah, that's a good point. If he's like 5th or 6th, then maybe you throw something on him. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. All right, so let's jump back into some of our other plays because the next guy I was going to bring up, Chalky mentioned, so I'll go back to Chalky. So Alberg was another guy that's kind of top 10 in odds, but not a top pick for anybody. But Chalky did allude to it. So go ahead, Chalky.
Yeah, I mean, I know we all loved him for the players, and then I think he didn't even make the cut. So
he's missed the last 2 cuts.
Yeah,
Actually.
he's been struggling, but he finished second last year, right?
Yeah.
So look, he's played well at the course, and that was his first year playing it. this is he's getting a lot of hype. So I don't know if the golf magazine jinx is going to be in effect if there is such a thing. But I mean, he's been gearing for this. There's high expectations. So if he delivers 20-1, might not you might not be able to get that for a while. So he's obviously talented, and at a longer shot, I wanted to go with that.
Yeah, Jason, where else were you kind of looking with legitimate guys that can win?
So I spread. So Matsuyama.
There's 95 golfers, as you mentioned too. Do you have?
But you could throw 25 of them out. Like,
Good. You could throw.
actually, 40 of them out.
Yeah, seriously.
Is John Daly in the field this year?
Matsuyama.
He was.
Jason has the other 40.
Yeah.
I pretty much. Nah, I have 8 guys.
Go.
Matsuyama is a horse for course. Hasn't played well recently, but he's a guy. Again, if he was playing well, you wouldn't get the odds you're getting on him, and he obviously has won here. So I'm going to take a shot on him. Lowry.
I think you pick him every tournament. It's your boy.
I like Lowry. He's probably more of a top tenner.
Yeah.
He doesn't finish well usually.
Yeah, he's another guy that 4 rounds he struggles. I think it's his weight.
He's a majors winner. So, and he fit my criteria. So Straka, up and coming. There's a guy that I think his odds are pretty much what they should be. Maybe not. Maybe they should be a little lower because I'm picking him to win. But his odds are what they are for a reason, I guess. Patrick Reed, bomb, loves the course. Again, I watched him last week. He played well. He was tearing up the course in the first round, and then he kind of dropped off. So he's a guy who loves. If you look up his finishes at the Masters, they're always up there. And he was 80-1. Another guy who always plays well here is Cam Smith. He has not played well lately. I'm not as strong on that pick, but again, he's a majors winner, and he's a good long shot.
His short game too. I mean, one of the best.
One of the best short game, and that's
the best chipper right now in the game, at least over the last 16
and
rounds.
His putting is unbelievable. I mean, he's got to be one of the top 5 putters on the tour. Well, not that he's on this tour anymore, but top 5 professional putters. Minwoo Lee. Now we're talking really long shots. I'm going to take a shot on Minwoo. I mean, he's played well recently, and he's ultra talented. Probably just a shot in the dark, but Minwoo Lee. And then I'll save 2 bombs.
I mean, he's a guy that could bomb it off the tee, though. That is
He's a bomber. Yeah, exactly.
That is an advantage.
Not accurate driver, but I mean, you can get away with that.
Right. Yeah. And that's what helped him in the tournament he just recently won.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah,
and I'll save my 2 biggest bombs for last.
Kev, anywhere else? I don't remember now if we talked about it before the pod or we broke your balls during the pod. But Justin Thomas, it's your.
Well,
time.
actually, now that you mentioned it, the one stat, I think the most important stat or trend that you can find for all-time Masters winners, the average age is 32. The man in the field closest to that age is Justin Thomas. He is 32 and 3 weeks. So if that doesn't scream a red hot trend, I don't know what does. So yeah, 25-1. I'll take my man.
He's another guy anymore. It's like getting him to do 4 rounds.
Yeah.
He's like do 4 rounds. Just his problem is he just has too many.
You can see how talented. He's so talented, though.
Yeah, I mean, look at the players. Yeah, he had 2 throwaway rounds, but he was flirting with 59.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he can go low as anybody out there. And I mean, the good thing about Augusta is, even though it has it's the tough. I think the last 4 years the toughest course on tour. It is the number 1 toughest group of par 4s, number 2 ranked toughest par 3s. There's not a lot of hazards. I mean, I think there's only 4 holes with water. I mean, OB doesn't come into play. So I think, around the greens, you can, lose a lot of shots. But it's not as though, at TPC Sawgrass, I mean, there's danger every hole. So it's one of those things. I mean, we'll see after round one if he gets in a groove.
Kev, water is only around Amen Corner. Is that right? Or is there any other holes that have water?
16, par 3, someone comes into play, but yeah, 12, 13, 14. So it's really only 4 holes.
Yeah, didn't Auberg flub a shot into the water last year where
I think it was a par 5, right? It was
and it looked like it was the end of his tournament, and then he kind of made a resurgence. And
yeah, so it's all in the back 9.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what they say. I learned today that you don't call it the back 9; it's the second 9. You know, you don't call them fans; you call them patrons, because the back 9 you don't, like it's too close to backside. I don't know, but yeah. So the second 9, right, is where I guess it starts. So yeah, JT, I'm going to keep throwing something on him until he wins his 3rd. Another guy too that this is 3rd year playing. Some better recent form. I mean, and again, he's an awful putter, which is good here at Augusta. But one of the best iron plays out there is Zalatoris. 55-1.
Yep.
I mean, those are some juicy odds. 2 longer shots I have. I mean, one I'll throw out there, previous champion, actually in great form as of late. Haven't seen him play because he's on live, but at 220-1, Sergio, I think is somebody, a little to win, but even a top 10 is another guy I like.
Yeah, I'll go through some of the guys. So my also ran other guys is kind of echoes a lot of what Jason had to say. So DeChambeau, of course, was one of them. Patrick Reed was one of them. Justin Rose, who I don't know if Jason did mention him yet.
Yeah.
But Justin Rose was one of them. Lucas Glover, who I had some nice stats on. His tee to green has been incredible. 7 top 5s since July of 23. So he's kind of made like this late in career resurgence. So he's a guy third in shots gained approach. Yeah, he's a weird putter, no gloves. Clemson guy. Sergio Garcia was a guy that had stars as a bomb. So similar to what Kevin. And then the last guy that I had as kind of a bomb, maybe he's a top 20 Harry English. I think he's like plus
Harris English.
Yeah. So he was somebody that I had also as a potential top 10 type guy. I think he was 8-1 for top 10. So, Chalky, did you have any crazy long shots or any top 10, 20 plays?
Yeah. So I don't have as many winners as Jason, but it is the Masters, so I do actually have a bigger list than normal. Most of the guys have been mentioned. So DeChambeau, Thomas, and Matsuyama I also have in that could very well win group in the lowers. Past this, these are more top 10 guys, but you could throw win money on. Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, both 40-1. Zalatoris, already mentioned. Robert McIntyre is one I like. Straka, and then the longest shot at 110-1, Daniel Berger.
All right.
Who you might hear some more about. Jason, how about you for long shots?
So Chalky mentioned one of them. I like lefties here, so I threw McIntyre in. I thought he was interesting. He didn't hit the criteria of making the cut last year. I don't think he played at the Masters last year, so I guess that was the only one of the criterias that I was looking at that he didn't fit. But again, I like lefties. He comes up with an effort every once in a while.
That could also play in, like, does not making the cut the year prior. Is it contingent on playing, or I obviously
I don't know.
Yeah. So he didn't play last year, but he was top 25. So this is his third start, and
he's played well.
21 and 22, he finished top 25, and actually did not play the last 2 years. It looks like he didn't play in 23 or 24.
Yeah. And then I had mentioned, I think it was the Tommy a couple of weeks ago, and or maybe it was a month ago. Justin Rose was 150 to 1. And I was like, this guy is playing well. Like, he might not be able to do it for 4 rounds, but was it the players that he was in? Wasn't he contending in the players, or was that?
I I
Um,
think it was a tournament earlier in the year.
yeah,
Was it?
I
I don't
forget
think it
which
was.
tournament it
I
was.
don't remember. I just kind of remember it being before the players. I thought.
Yeah, and I mean, the guy's got history here. He's played well here. He did not make the cut last year, so that's another guy that didn't fit all the criteria. But 150 to 1, I've seen worse bets than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else before we move on? Any other
Uh,
sleepers? Or,
real quick, Pebble Beach was he finished third. Justin Rose.
That's where he. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of like top fives, tens, other things, and actually ones that that echoes the Jordan Reed. I mean, Zalatoris, Strack as a guy brought up, and even mixing Ram and Morikawa. But this is my second time trying to hit this $1 million parlay that I put together. So
How'd the first one go?
I hit, I think, 4 out of the 8 legs, so 50%. Didn't get the winner, but so as of yesterday on DraftKings, $10 would win 1.125 million. And another 8-legger, starting at the top is a Morikawa win, and then 2 top fives, guys. Rom, which I was looking at as well since 2017. I mean, his history here is great. He's got a win, 2 top fives, 2 top tens. And then Spieth, who's somebody I always sprinkle. I mean, he should have 3 Masters at this point. But so third leg is Spieth top 5, Zalatoris and Henley both top 10, and then Straka, Reed, and Laurie Cantor, who's looking like the DP World Tour's version of Scotty Scheffler this year, as a top 20 as well. So 10 to win $1 million. Why not?
We're rooting for you, Kev. We're rooting for you. Maybe
Yeah.
oh.
A nice steak dinner and see.
All
Yeah,
right.
if that hits,
let's,
we could do this live from Augusta next year, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Are you guys ready to start talking about our cuts?
I'll just throw in. Somebody's texting me. I'll just throw in my top 20s, which are basically all the guys that I gave you, except there's one guy that I haven't given you yet. Who, it's crazy. I have the top 20s the last 2 years, and he's not playing well. But Cameron Young finished T7 in 2023 and T9 last year. He obviously likes the course, and he was plus 400 to finish top 20.
Yeah, when I was scrolling, his odds to win was like it took me by
It was
like
200 or something.
yeah,
He's
it
been terrible.
was something crazy. Yeah, I
He's
know.
been terrible this year, but he apparently likes the course. So I only bet guys that were plus for top 20. Like I didn't bet DeChambeau, and I bet
Yeah, of course, yeah. Unless you're
Lee,
gonna do
Straka. Yeah.
crazy, like have crazy parlay, you can't.
Yeah.
do
If a
guys
guy
like
if a
that.
guy wasn't plus money, I didn't bet him for top 20. That's how I looked at it.
Has anybody
Okay, all
ever won the Masters straight out of coming out of jail? Because this is one of the Argentinian guys like just get released from prison. He's
Cabrera.
playing Cabrera.
Oh, he used to play really well.
I know.
He's also 50 something. Yeah, that's how he's in.
Does anybody know who the longest? I think DraftKings has is the longest odds to win this year.
I mean, I do because I'm looking at it, so I'm out.
Yeah.
Is it Langer?
Longer? No, he's probably decent. Is it a debutante or a former champ?
It's a former champ, I'm pretty sure.
I don't. I guess he
It's
won. I don't know.
it's a name. It's a name you'll easily recognize. I don't recall off the top of my head if he's won the
Yeah,
Masters or
that's
not.
same. I echo that.
He has to be in if he had to win if he's in. So who is
He's
it?
he's a legend guy.
Freddie Couples?
No.
No.
He's third from the bottom, but he's not the bottom.
Okay.
Who
I don't know
who is it?
Chocolate.
Jose Maria Olazabal.
who.
Yeah,
Fable,
pretty
okay.
sure he won, right?
Twice he's won.
Yeah.
And what was it? 400 or was it higher than
99 and 94 he won. It is 500,000 plus 500,000.
that?
No.
They don't even have odds to finish top 20. It's like win or top 10, and then that's nothing else.
If you throw him in your win to win,
I mean, that's $1 billion right there.
DraftKings will not pay that out on any parlay after that.
I would
no.
bankrupt DraftKings.
What's the matchup? Scheffler versus him.
Again, it's probably like minus 500,000
if you
Scheffler
parlay
versus.
with that French guy to win the Grand Prix.
Trust me, if it was that high, I would call in a bomb threat and say my name is Scotty Scheffler and see if he can get arrested before the first round again, and then see if I can win that head to head that way.
Well, they would cancel the bet, but if you you injured him and he was playing injured, then
yeah, need one of those trees to fall on him.
Yeah.
All right, let's build this cup bet. We do it every tournament. We make a cut. Did we hit last year's Masters? I don't.
No.
No.
We did not.
We hit Players and U.S. Open last year. Definitely, I think those are the only two.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you who or why. I mean, I don't know.
The Masters should be the easiest, right?
I mean, 50 to 95, and like you guys said, 30 of them are like automatic.
I forget who blew it last year for us. I'm gonna go try to look.
I mean, the amateurs aren't winning, and the old guys aren't winning. So right there, that's at least 20, 25 guys.
Yeah, right.
And then you could go down the list and find another 20 guys that have absolutely no chance to win.
Yeah.
So half the field can't win.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go around. Chalky's doing a little research. So I'll start with you, Jason. Who do you like for the cut?
So I'm going to go with a guy who loves the course, but he's a live guy. So Patrick Reed. So you probably get a little better value on him because he's live, and people kind of forget some of these live guys. So I'm going to go with Reed.
Champ.
All right, and Kev.
A kind of a oldish guy, former U.S. Open champion at Marion. Shout out Philly area. A Brit, Justin Rose, I think minus 210.
Yeah, a guy we mentioned, and one of the guys I did mention that I'm going to take is Lucas Glover to make the cut. And Chalky, you want to give us your final and then go through the odds since you have them in front of you?
Berger is my cut, and he is since we're doing DraftKings, he's minus 230. And the one that, at least one of, if not more, that knocked us out of the Masters last year was Justin Rose.
Yes, he did.
Like,
yeah, he did. I remember that.
Wow.
Did I pick him last year too?
I don't know who picked him. Last year was Chris Kirk, Kurt Kitayama, Justin Rose, and Seb Straka was our parlay.
I had Kitayama.
I had Kirk. So you.
I think
I had Kirk. Yeah. Or maybe I might have had Rose. Either Rose or Kirk.
I think it was Kevin.
I think yeah.
That had Rose. Okay.
Oh no!
Oh
man,
I like him though. I like him this year. So I think it's a good pick.
No, we're definitely hitting this.
All right, Chalk. So what is it overall, Chalky, on the for our cup bet?
So the best payout right now on those four would be DraftKings, and so that's plus 352 right now for a 4-pick parlay with no bonuses.
So we get like a 15% bonus.
Yeah, last year we were closer to 5-1, but if you hit it, you hit it.
Yeah, you're getting 3.5 to 1. Like like we said, it's not. I mean, I got to think that you're the favorite to hit this bet versus not hitting the bet. So.
Yeah, I mean the lowest number we have on here is Glover at minus 175. So when you're talking 200 or better on most of these guys, it's still not bad.
Yeah. All right, it sounds good. Anything else? Any other final thoughts before we send it away? It sounds good. Anything else?
I don't think Jack is doing it.
I'm Watson Gary.
Honorary starters, Masters.
Players are like
Oh yeah, last night the Champions Dinner. did
No,
Texas.
Probably
I
looks like
didn't catch it. Do you see who had the worst? They were showing like the worst one ever.
Oh, there's some crazy ones.
It was
like a South
Matsuyama had a great one because he had like Wagyu. But
sushi, sashimi.
Bubba Watson, when he won, had his menu was Caesar salad, grilled chicken, just grilled chicken with vegetables, and like a slice of cake. That was his Masters championship meal. All right, so the honorary are Jack is still there. Yeah, Jack, Gary, and Tom Watson.
Jack Aaron
I thought Jack had retired from that, but I guess he's still going.
Gary Player's got to be 89 right now. By now,
He
89.
is very close, if not there for sure. I thought he was winding this down too, but
And he looks like he's like 69. Like he.
Oh yeah, no, he's gonna live to like 100. I think
he can still play, and he gets around. He travels all around, like as an ambassador
he's
for
this area a lot. Like
for the game.
He was
yeah,
in Delco a couple of years ago, I remember.
Yeah, and then we were saying before the pod, we seems like you can watch it on ESPN on TV, and it's some of the streaming was Paramount, and then obviously CBS. I don't know. Does Masters website? Can you watch it on?
Yeah, you can watch every shot from every player on the website.
Masters.com. Yep.
I wish I could put it on my TV. Like I would have to watch it on my computer.
Yeah, and if I remember, I hopefully my employer's not watching, but I think I watched it from work, and it works, but then it's choppy at times.
Yeah.
It's like not the cleanest, but obviously it's watchable.
Yeah, Gary Player turns 90 this year in November. So
wow,
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, still crushing it.
All right, well, if nobody has anything else to add, we're going to sign off episode 152 of the Masters. Have a great night.
Good evening, my friends.